Have you ever had that nagging feeling, that little voice in your head asking, am I ahead or am I behind financially? Well, that's exactly what we're going to tackle today. We are breaking down the net worth you should be aiming for decade by decade, creating a super clear financial roadmap for 2026. This really is the big question, isn't it? By the end of this, you won't just know where you stand, you'll know exactly what your next steps should be to start building the future that you really want. Okay, first things first, let's get on the same page. Your net worth is simply everything you own. We're talking cash, investments, your car, your house, minus everything you owe, like student loans or a mortgage. And hey, can it be negative when you're starting out? Absolutely. That is totally normal, so don't sweat it. Now, this is a crucial point. We're focusing on the median net worth today. Think of the median as the person standing smack dab in the middle of a lineup. The average? Well, that number gets wildly distorted by billionaires, which makes it a pretty useless benchmark for the rest of us. The median gives us a much more realistic picture of where everyday people actually are. All right, let's dive into your 20s. This is the decade for laying the foundation. Seriously, the habits you build right here, right now, will literally shape the rest of your financial life. No pressure. And wow, this slide perfectly illustrates why we're talking about median versus average. Just look at that gap. The median net worth for someone in their 20s is just under $7,000. The average, over $127,000. See what I mean? That's why we stick with the median. It's achievable, it's realistic. So what's the actual target? Financial experts, like the ones at Fidelity, have a really simple rule of thumb. Aim to have 1 times your annual salary saved by the time you turn 30. So if you're making, say, $52,000 a year, that's your number. That's the goal. So how in the world do you get there? It really boils down to 3 things. First, avoid high-interest consumer debt like the plague. I'm talking credit cards, personal loans. That stuff will sink you. Second, aim to save 15 to 20% of your income. It's a stretch, but it's powerful. And third, invest in yourself. Your 20s are the perfect time to build skills that will dramatically boost your paycheck down the road. Now check this out, because this is where you can see the raw power of starting early. Look at this chart. Someone who's earning $60,000 and just manages to put away 15%, they can end up with over $1.6 million by retirement. If you bump that up to 20%, you're looking at over $2.2 million. That, my friends, is the magic of compounding, and it all starts in your 20s. All right, let's move into the 30s. You've laid the groundwork, and now it is time to hit the accelerator. This is the decade where your net worth can really start to take off. And you can see the goalpost moves a lot. By the time you hit 40, the target is to have 3 times your annual salary saved. So if you're earning $100,000 a year, you're now shooting for a net worth of $300,000. The pace is definitely picking up. So to hit that bigger goal, your priorities have to shift a bit. Number 1, your mission is to get debt-free, with the likely exception of your mortgage, of course. Get rid of anything that's dragging you down. Number 2, you have to watch out for lifestyle inflation. Just because your income is growing, it doesn't mean your spending has to keep up. And 3, build a rock-solid emergency fund. We're talking anywhere from 3 to 12 months of living expenses. Life gets more complicated, and you're gonna need that cushion. Now we're entering the 40s. For a lot of people, these are your prime earning years. Financial planning becomes less about those basic habits and a way more about making major strategic moves. And the goal definitely reflects that. By the time you hit 50, you're aiming for 6 times your annual salary. Yep, the multiple has doubled again. So that same person who's earning $100,000, they're now targeting a $600,000 net worth. The goals here are really big picture stuff. First, you need a concrete plan for your largest expenses, whether that's paying off the house or helping fund college for your kids. Second, it's time to stop guessing and actually calculate your specific retirement number. And third, if you have anyone depending on you, you absolutely need an estate plan to protect them. This quote just perfectly captures the huge pivot you need to make as you head into the next decade. The game isn't just about growing your money anymore, it's about protecting the wealth you've worked so incredibly hard to build. So, welcome to your 50s. Retirement isn't some far-off concept anymore. You can actually see it on the horizon. The focus here shifts to de-risking and making that one final push. By age 60, the recommendation is to have at least 8 times your salary saved. Now, I'm gonna argue that's the minimum. If you can push for 10 or even 12 times your salary, you are going to be in a much, much stronger position. So what are the key moves you need to make? Well, first, it's time to shift your portfolio to be a bit more conservative. Less volatility is your best friend now. Second, you need to know exactly how much you plan to spend in retirement so you can finalize your target number. And third, you have to take full advantage of catch-up contributions in your retirement accounts. It's basically free money from the government to help you finish strong. And here we are, the 60s. This is it, the finish line. All of the planning, all the saving, all the investing over all those decades, it all comes together right here. So, the standard goal is to have 10 times your salary saved by retirement. But a more ambitious and frankly a much safer target is to have 20 times your annual expenses saved up. Why? Because retirees often spend less than when they were working, and this provides an incredible buffer for a long and really comfortable retirement. Okay, your final checklist is simple, but it is absolutely critical. 1, have a precise withdrawal plan for how you're going to access your money. 2, your entire investment focus should now be on preserving your capital, making sure that money lasts. And 3, have that house paid off. Being completely mortgage-free is one of the biggest keys to a stressful retirement. So at the end of the day, remember that these are just benchmarks. They're not judgments. Everyone's path is different. The real question is, after seeing this whole roadmap laid out, what is the one single next step you can take on your own personal journey? Because that's what really matters.